hamsterverse, we chase the light. Cohort Season 7 rise. On the blockchain we are wise. Innovation in our eyes.
Right on. Hello, everybody. My name is Sasquatch. I'm a cleric here at the guild. Believe that you guys have been introduced to that concept, running through the types of roles that are available and needed here in the guild. Clerics are the account managers, so manage the inboarding of clients and pull together available raiders to form the party to go work on the raid. Yeah, Deacon and Tay asked me to come on and talk a little bit, so this is basically just a little intro, maybe as a joiner of Ray Guild, like what I came to learn and appreciate about this organization, and the value that I've derived from it, and the value that I hope that I bring to it, and especially as someone who's non-tech. So if there are other people out there that are non-tech that are looking for opportunities here, let me tell you that they exist and are needed. I was a brewer for most of my professional career. I spent 8 years on the brew stand at various places, and that took me to Barcelona in 2020, January 2020, which was a very strange time to move to a city, especially a Spanish city. Luckily, I had an old friend who goes by the name of Yaler. He was a original Raid Guild member. He was a cleric originally as well. He's also non-tech, great communicator and organizer, but found his way into Raid Guild through that. And he brought me on as well. So I joined not knowing a goddamn thing about software development. I'd run a mining rig myself like in 2017, but I never really participated in crypto beyond that. So I found myself a home and a very welcoming group that offered me up opportunities to find work and find a new community online, and really venture into this world. So Ray Guild to me is, a beautiful onboarding group where you can find a community of people who are here to help each other thrive online, and find work and build. It's full of people who are really passionate about what they're doing and dedicated to building in this space, because there's really no other way to exist in Ray Guild, just because it's a group of freelancers. I was talking to my roommate last night who works in the normal world, and her biggest pain point is trying to encourage people to work and work hard, and that has never been the issue here. Everybody here wants to be here and works hard. So if you are looking at the cleric journey, if you're looking to work and like build teams and organize teams, Ray Guild is a great group to pull from, because everybody here is really keyed in and motivated to work. The only hard thing is finding people who have availability, which is the beautiful thing about the cohort. It's bringing new bodies on. I think as you learn more about how the guild operates, you'll see maybe a better sense about how these raids form. A lot of stuff in this organization is a little bit like ad hoc and is constantly evolving, which makes it nimble and fun. And it's easy to come in and contribute, and also go off and work on your own projects. And we think that one of the best things is actually that ebb and flow of people coming into the guild and working, and then leaving and doing other projects, because that just brings more attention to the guild and brings more clients in. We definitely see the need for constant evolution. And I think there's been a lot that's come in this last year the as the crypto industry itself, Web3 industry itself, has kind of slowed down and changed from the Wild West to having a lot more companies and like traditional structures that are operating. So there's less work being thrown out to dev shops in general. And then there's also just a cooling of the industry in general. So through that, I think there's been some exciting uh, new developments. I'm kind of wandering a little bit, so forgive me for that. But I think this is the real thing that I wanted to cover is the the new the new avenues that people are exploring um, to bring work into Raid Guild. We originally had um, this bevy of work that was pouring in right when I joined in 21. Um, and so it was honestly like really tough to find people who were available, and there's more projects than we had capacity for. So there wasn't very much emphasis put onto marketing or outreach or discovery, and that has shifted. The tide has switched. There's been some really exciting stuff happening around grants. Grants are big in Web3. I'm sure those of you have participated in this ecosystem before now. It's like the main flow of capital, I think, these days. And so there's been a group here at Ray Guild. I see Sayonara is on. Who else? I don't see Katabe, and I don't see Suede, but a group of raiders who joined up with a group called General Magic to go pursue grants. And instead of waiting for clients to come to Ray Guild, they're actually going out and doing like exploratory work. Um, seeking grants, building a project around a grant, launching it, and finding a new way to bring work into the guild. This is evolving. I think they're doing really well, and we're going to see here in the near future how the optimism community views that work. I have another project that actually came from a gathering that a lot of Regal people participated in a couple weeks ago called MCon. Came out of the Meta Cartel family, if you're familiar with them. And the this is going to be another project where we're trying to build an idea, launch that to the Gitcoin community, and see if we can get funding from them. So all this is serving to say is that there's a lot of ways to organize, and I think we're seeing that now the importance is placed on being creative about how the non-tech people within Ray Guild find new opportunities and bring them into the builders. That's the main thing I want to highlight. There's a ton of availability here for creativity. So those of you who have ideas that you want to build on, like there's a group of builders here who are ready to go. And we have a couple different products that have been launched through Ray Guild. I'm sure you've been made aware of these or have made mention of, or Tate and Deacon and the other Ray Guild members have made mention of these, but there are these products that exist out in the ecosystem that they don't exist in the ecosystem, that have been built for Ray Guild purposes and have just slowly been started to shift these into more of a product mindset and putting them out for people to interact with and generate more excitement around Ray Guild. And yeah, I think the main points that I wanted to get across is I want to, make my presence known for those of you that are here either to working in project management or account management, right? Working with clients, or who wanted to work on business development. Those are the areas that I found that are very crucial and needed, to keep this organism alive. and I want to be a resource to you. So please don't hesitate to reach out if that's something that you're looking for. Um, and also for you, those of you that are coming on to do work, the clerics are the ones that are building these teams, and so if and when we have work that comes in, I will be here as much as I can through the court process and try to understand each one of you, and when those opportunities arise, bring you on. That was a little bit more freeform than I expected. If there's any questions or any comments around what I just said, please let me know.
No, that's
Otherwise,
awesome.
yeah.
It's awesome to hear the perspective of the non-technical, because I think we hear this like freelancer group to support each other, but you kind of get the vision of a bunch of coders in their basement, but that's not it. All those things you mentioned, there's a lot of roles for non-technical, so it's cool to hear that perspective. One thing might be interesting to talk about is your experience with Raid Brood. So you mentioned you were a brewmeister, at the beginning in a previous life, and really still currently because of Raid Brood, or now I guess just called Brood. But how that evolved out of Raid Guild, and how you got a bunch of people together, put some funds together, and then started making beers. I think that's a pretty cool story too.
Yeah, thanks for the prop, Deacon. And also thanks for helping with the branding. We're fully brewed. We've dropped the raid.
Brood.
But yeah, I see Nicholas here. Thanks again to you for your help. That was a little bit uncontextualized, so let me contextualize it a little better. Yeah, this maybe to the point that I mentioned before, that there's a fertile ground for your creativity here. Like I said, I came in as a brewer. Brewing and Web3 don't really have much in common, other than the fact that everybody in the world, not everybody in the world, maybe 50% of the people in the world enjoy beer. Maybe more, maybe less. But there was an avenue here to bring people together who appreciated the creativity around beer and the community around beer, and launch a project. So Raid Brood spun out of Raid Guild. Sorry, Brood spun out of Raid Guild. I messed up too. We used another product from the guild here called Eater, that came from the DAO House people, so Deacon especially. And this tool is there to basically spin up a DAO from people. It's like a fundraising tool that also brings you into a DAO, issuing you shares in the Mullet contract. And so we launched this beer club, and from that initial seed round, we made one beer for Denver in 2022, I think it was, and we've kept the ball rolling since then, experimenting with physical goods and tying those things into this technology. It's been evolving over these couple of years, but it's gotten to the point where I feel like we're at an interesting spot where we have this technology and this tool that really links together a physical experience and brings that online, meshing these two communities together. It's still a little bit difficult to try to engage with people around the world, but we're finding our ways to do it.
One of the things, as a Brood member, and one of the things that I've really liked about this DAO from the start was that I could actually explain it to my parents and stuff. It's to explain what Raid Guild is or what DAO House is. There's a lot of context around Web3 and stuff, but a beer club that makes beer and together and drinks it together and all the things that Brute does is a lot easier to explain. People kind of just get it right away. And yeah, it is kind of hard still to be like, well, here, just scan this QR code and go to Coinbase and get some ETH and download a wallet. But those are all problems that everyone has to go through to get into the space. But and maybe it's not go to Coinbase get ETH. Maybe it's go join a DAO and earn some ETH. But anyways, yeah, I've always liked that aspect of it, and the fact that we get to drink beer together.
Yeah, it just makes it kind of simple and nice in the end. And
Proof
you
of
know, the
drink,
exciting
though,
thing for me is that
that's the QR code thing, right? Proof of drink.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, the exciting thing for me is, you know, we have this thing that makes us feel good and brings us together. We get to share an experience, and you know, we can leave these conferences with, you know, some memories and some just some good times that exist outside of just the chilling and networking. But also, this technology is evolving into, you know, a worthwhile tool. The proof of drink is this NFT that's tied to the cans. This label that we have. Thank you. This label that we have, they have a QR code. We've hidden it beyond stickers, and this last one we had a dual layer on the can. So imagine you have a can of beer and you peel one half of the label off, and underneath there's a QR code you can scan, and that's a claimable NFT. So we now have this physical thing that people can interact with, and now use that as an onboarding tool. And the next evolution is actually to make it into integrate like the Coinbase wallet, so it's a flow where anybody with a cell phone and an email account can handle. You know, you don't have to have your own wallet or anything set up. You don't have to have MetaMask on your phone. You don't even have to understand what Web3 is, but you can, you know, you can have this interaction with our world. So we think the creativity around that's really interesting, and you know, we were lucky enough to partner with Decent, an awesome DAO tooling project in the space, and together we launched this event where we had a shill competition where people could come up and talk about the project they wanted to launch, and the actual proof of drink from that event was a vote, so you could cast a vote to the project that you thought was most deserving of funds moving forward. So it's just, I guess it's just you know, a little anecdote to highlight that this space is fertile ground for any of your passions, anything that you think that you're excited about and you can get people excited about. It can reverberate beyond just that immediate use case. And I would highly recommend, if there are things that you are excited about, to bring them here, because you know, this little passion project from us at the guild has moved beyond, and now is actually something that's bringing work to the guild and expanding our network, and yeah, providing some real utility in the space. So thank you for listening, and yeah,
Thank you.
Yo, check the mic, 1, 2. Squeak, it's Hammy G. Descending into the abyss where things get funky, see. This ain't no Disney flick, no cheesy cartoon chase. The Smollett's lair, a bureaucratic soul-crushing space like Dante's Inferno, with more paperwork and fees and demonic interaction.